there's a fly. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat and I make videos about books, writing and other random things living rent-free in my neurodivergent brain. Today I'm doing my August and September review. I am very behind, but to be honest, the past 2 months have been a bit difficult in terms of my mental health and my general health. I've been very tired and quite burned out, so it's been a bit challenging for me to pick up the camera and film. So I still managed to get things out for you and still work on my channel, but yeah, sitting in front of the camera has been a bit on the back burner during those 2 months. So now I need to catch up and I have a lot of things to talk about. So starting with my highs and lows from August. In terms of my low, as I mentioned, it's been a bit of a rough month. I've been very tired, and in August I was very burned out again. So it was a difficult time. Thankfully, I had some time off planned in August already, so that was very beneficial and very needed. And I had some very cool plans during that time off, which were really refreshing and recharging. So that really helped with my mental health and overall well-being. So in August, as you've probably seen on my channel, I went to London for the Taylor Swift's Eras Tour concert, and I also went to see Moulin Rouge and Back to the Future, so a couple of musicals. I was there with a good friend of mine and I had a wonderful time just walking around, visiting bookshops, eating good food. It was absolutely amazing. And then after that, I went to the Stockholm Writer Festival, which was also quite an amazing experience. I went to the festival, I think, back in 2017 and 2018. So at the time I was living in Stockholm, so it was much easier for me to attend. And it was also the first 2 years of the festival, so the very beginning. And I haven't been back since, but this year was truly amazing. I think the quality of the festival, the speakers, the workshops that were there was incredible. I had a fantastic time. I met so many incredible people and it was so rewarding and motivating for my writing as well. So that trip, like both London and Stockholm, were truly the high of my month. And I have 2 vlog videos about each of those trips on the channel that you can look at. In terms of my favorite for the month of August, it's a Instagram video which is like a comical kind of music parody on a D&D theme, and I was absolutely obsessed with that video during the month of August, just listening to it on the loop and having a lot of like private jokes around it with my husband and just like having a lot of fun. So yeah, that was a very cool and geeky moment in my month. I will link the video in the description below because I don't think I can integrate it in this one for just like copyright reasons. Otherwise, in terms of explorations around my area in August, my husband and I went to the Emmaus shop, which is like, I believe, the biggest secondhand shop in Europe, maybe, or at least in France. Like, it's a huge facility with lots of furniture, clothes, books, so many things. And I was pretty overwhelmed by the books section, so I didn't buy anything. I was looking for an old Buffy novel, which I actually found in a little library next to where I live. So I didn't find it at Emmaus, but I did found it in the little library, which was really random and quite surprising, but that was a fun little surprise. So I will insert some footage about the secondhand shop so that you can see what it looks like. Now, in terms of books for the month of August, I got 9 books. So one of them was the Buffy book that I found in the little library that I just mentioned. And then I purchased 8 other books during my trip to London and Stockholm, and then one that I had ordered for a buddy read. So I have a whole video about all those books that I purchased. Considering that I'm trying to bring fewer books into my life and be more mindful and all of that, I was still fairly mindful, but clearly not as strong-willed as I would have liked. And yeah, it was not my best month, but it's a journey, it's a work in progress. And so sometimes you do well and sometimes you don't do as well. So it's fine, it's not the end of the world. And that whole video is actually the most viewed video on my channel, so at least there's that. That being said, I did unhaul quite a few books in August. I did a whole curate my bookshelves video with a lot of books recommendations, kind of going through all the books that I wanted to keep from the shelves that I processed and looking at the books I didn't want to keep. So I added 10 books on my unhaul pile in August. I still need to get them out of the house, but at least they're in a specific corner when I know those books need to move and I'm saying goodbye to them. I had a few books that I was unsure about, so for now I've kept those. We'll see if I get rid of them later on. And then I still have 5 cookbooks that I'm planning to unhaul, but I still just need to go through the recipes to make sure that I'm keeping what I'm interested in. So yeah, I still haven't done that, but I will. So if I count the cookbooks, that's 15 unhauled books, which feels good, again, because it was a month where I purchased quite a few books, so it kind of balances out. And in terms of my reading, I will do a separate August and September wrap up, but I read 11 books out of my 16 list on my TBR. So yeah, feeling quite good about that. In terms of my writing, to be honest, I don't even remember much about what I've done with my novel in August. I don't think I made a lot of progress, but I did write a little bit in a gorgeous library in Stockholm, so that was a bit of a highlight. I also was longlisted for a grant, so that was very exciting. I made it past the first stage. Later on I found out that I still didn't get the grant. I think it's only like 1 or 2 people who gets it, but yeah, having made it past the first stage was quite validating and encouraging, so I'm still very happy about that. And then obviously I went to the Stockholm Writers Festival, which was truly amazing. I had a couple of opportunities to submit my work anonymously for feedback, and the reception was very positive and very encouraging. Now, moving on to September, in terms of highs and lows, I was very much, again, still very tired, a bit burned out in September, and full on into a reading slump. So it was not a very fun month overall. In terms of high though, I was back in Stockholm at the end of the month for the wedding of a very good friend of mine. I was her witness for a wedding, so I was so pleased and honored to be there, and it was a gorgeous wedding. I had a fantastic time. It was nice to see some of my friends and celebrate this incredible moment with them. So yeah, that definitely was the high of my month. And actually, that trip to Stockholm was the first time that my husband was back in Sweden since we moved back to France like 5 years ago. So it was also very special to be there with him, and yeah, to just like go back to some of the places that we really love. I still need to edit it, but I will have a vlog coming up about that trip. In terms of my favorite for the month of September, it's actually a piece of clothing that my mom gave me. It's this denim jacket that I've been obsessed with and wearing all the time. It has a very like kind of vintage look, very 80s, and I was already wearing it in August, but yeah, I just love it so much, and so every time I go out, that's what I wear at the moment. I did watch the Star Academy documentary on Netflix, and it's very grabbing, like very engaging, but I also hated it. I enjoyed watching it. At the same time, it made me so angry. So if you want to watch it, you probably want to jump to the next timestamp, because I'm gonna give spoilers about it. So basically, the Star Academy is kind of this documentary that was filmed about the creation of the Katseye girls group. and it's a group of 6 girls from a bunch of different countries that's kind of built and trained on the model of K-pop groups. So basically it's a collaboration, I think, between a label, I think like a production company and a label, one I guess from the US and the other one from Korea. They received 120,000 applications from girls all around the globe to attend this kind of K-pop modeled training and to get the opportunity to be part of that band. And a few of those girls are selected and then they come to the US to be trained for a full year, living in a house with all those other girls, and in the end only 6 will remain. The girls thought that basically they would be picked based on merit to be part of the group, and so the hardest working ones, the most talented ones would end up in the group, and it was again based on your merit. But what the production team didn't tell them was that it would actually turn into a survival show. And first of all, how is that even legal? Like that they don't even know what they signed up for. Some of them are minors as well, so that felt very disturbing, and I don't even understand how that can be legally feasible. But then also they put those girls through hell together. Like they trained so hard, they learned to collaborate with each other, they became very close, again living in the same house for a full year, and then you turn them against each other and turn it into a competition where like they need to show themselves on social media and appeal to a public's vote. Yeah, I really didn't like it, and there was one executive in particular who was interviewed in the documentary and just like talking about how they just need to grab the audience and get some drama so that they will get better ratings or whatever. And that was just so disheartening and so disgusting. And also like, why would you do that when the point in the end is like to form a group? Like those girls need to be feeling like they belong with each other, that they want to work together. And so they were just creating drama, bringing girls late to the house, like not all at the same time. So obviously that creates some tension. Anyway, it was like, again, full of drama, so very engaging indeed. I guess they succeeded in that front, but it was really not what I was expecting. I wanted to see them train. I was also curious to see more of the audition part because they got so many candidates. How do they narrow it down to just like, I think it was 20 girls total in the house? And I wanted to see more of that process. Like in all those talent shows, the part that I enjoy the most is just like those audition stages, and then after usually I just stop watching because I don't like it as much. So yeah, it was really a shame. It was not at all what I was expecting. I thought it was just ethically problematic. And there's actually one of the girls, Lexi from Sweden, who when it turned into that survival show decided to withdraw, and good for her, honestly. I think I would have been the same. I just like totally understand her decision, and just like I was just like there with her, and you could see on her face how just those kind of manipulations from the team was just like breaking her, and it was really disheartening. So yeah, I don't know if I can recommend that show, to be honest. Moving on to the book section of this review, I got 2 books in September, both when I was in Stockholm. The first one is The Healing Season of Pottery by Yeon So-min, which features in this month's TBR, and it looks to be a very cozy type of book, perfect for autumn. And then the next one is Norse Gods by Johan Ejakrantz, which is an illustrated book about, again, the Norse gods. So I think the illustrations are stunning. And this is a book I got at the Wiki Museum in Stockholm. on the recommendation of the guide who was there and who was amazing. She knew so much, and she was in costume and really sharing the love and the enthusiasm for the Vikings. So yeah, I had a fantastic time at that museum. 90% of which was based on my interactions with that guide. In terms of unhauling, again in September, I'm glad that things are balancing out because I'm unhauling 3 books, which are, I don't know if I should say because it's going to be a spoiler for my September wrap up. So let's just say that I'm unhauling 3 books. And then in terms of my reading, as I said, I was very much in a reading slump for most of the month. So I had quite an ambitious TBR again in September. I think I had 13 books on my list and I ended up only getting to 4 of them. I've started 2 that I rolled over to October, but yeah, that's just my month. So not as good as August, definitely, and hopefully October will be better. And then finally, in terms of my writing, I started September quite strong. I had this goal of finishing my first draft of the fantasy novel that I'm working on by the end of this year. And so based on how many words I had written and how much I'm hoping to get to, which is 100,000 words, which for me is so ambitious because I usually write on the shorter side, I calculated that I needed to write about 4,000 words a week until the end of the year to make that goal of 100k words. So I had this plan of writing 5,000 words a week, like ideally 5,000 words, knowing that I needed to write 4, so that I was a bit over because I knew that some weeks I would not be able to hit that goal. So I kind of was building in that buffer, and I did very well for the first 2 weeks. I hit my goal. I was writing every day. I was really pushing myself. And so I was very, very proud of the progress that I was making, and I made it over 40,000 words. Unfortunately, after that, things started to kind of drop, and I realized that I was very much pushing myself too hard and writing from a empty well, like from the metaphor of the creative well. I was very much writing from a dry and empty place. And so I decided to take a step back, take things slower, just give myself space and time to do things at my own rhythm. I would still like to finish that draft by the end of the year. I don't know if that will happen. It seems seriously compromised at this point, but again, like I think I really wanted to finish it quickly because at the Stockholm Writers Festival, I had such a good response from the agents that were there that I felt like, okay, I really need to get this book ready as soon as possible. I can't take 5 years to finish it because I need to send it to those agents. But the reality is it's going to take as long as it needs to take. And the goal is not to write a quick book. The goal is to write a good book. And so I'm probably slower than a lot of other writers, but I just need to be fine with it and take the time that it needs to be. Again, my goal is to write the best book that I can write. And so if it takes a long time, then it's going to take a long time. But if I just rush it, burn myself out and just like try to get a book that's not good enough out, then it's just going to be a failure anyway. So again, I'm trying to take things more slowly, more to my own rhythm, and to be gentle with myself because I'm dealing with a lot at the moment. So I'm doing my best. I'm still joining my writing groups 2 to 3 times a week and being quite regular, even if I'm just watching a Brandon Sanderson lecture or tinkering with other things. All that time is still writing. So yeah, I'm feeling better about it now. But it truly was was a bit sad the second half of September where things felt again very, very dry and not flowing at all. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, trying to focus on myself and taking things a bit more gently. And there you have it. That was my August and September review. Very much delayed, but I hope you still enjoyed it. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.